Okay, so it's not exactly a secret that I'm not fond of Marrakesh. I think, as a map, it needs improvements even now. I feel like there needs to be more ways to get the two targets together. I think that the most practical way of getting Klaus down from the consulate is by shooting him, and I don't particularly want to do that. So instead, I'm going into the school and I'm going into the consulate, and I really wish I didn't have to do that because I just think it is a complete waste of time. But what can you do? It wouldn't be bad if you could even get Razor to go to the consulate, but nope, there is only one way to get them to connect, so I am not particularly happy when I do this route. Now, I've got the Karma as you saw, and besides that the route isn't too complicated. Essentially, I'm going to use the bike just outside the gate point, if you like, the entry point, to just distract the guards, and from there I'm just going to sneak into the school. So this is the bike in question. I've brought the covert with me, the SMG, just for the fact that it's very good just for getting through doors, and that is something I'm going to need. So as you can see, blow the bike up, just wait for the guards to bypass. As soon as they do, you can sprint past. We're going to just take cover here for the simple fact there's a guard and he is going to be looking in this direction. Well, 9 times out of 10 he is anyway, he's sort of looking this way. I wouldn't particularly like to walk forward, put it like that. So as soon as he's done with his little panicky patrol moment, once he's calmed down, as he is, we're just going to wait for him to go back to the right towards pretty much the way we're going. We're going to go through the doorway, and this is where we need the SMG. I haven't bought a lockpick, I haven't bought anything that can open it, like a breach charge, so the SMG is literally the only option I've got. So we're just waiting for this guy to pass. He'll be there for about another 10 seconds maybe, probably less. As soon as he does, we're just going to wait for him to move a little bit away, purely because the SMG makes a bit of noise. As soon as he's gone, then we'll open the door. Once we're through, we're going to use the Karma to just get rid of the 2 guards in here. Now I sort of wish I'd saved a little bit of it, because I could use it on one of them, but I don't need to use it on both of them. Still, it was a quick way of getting through the area, because I seem to have bad luck getting through the area fast, so this was a good way of just getting them both knocked out. Not to mention, if the guard in the room to the left had seen, he would have just seen the Karma working, so it would have been an accidental knockout, no big drama about it. So I'm not regretting how I did this, it's just there's always a better method, isn't there? So again, use the submachine gun to get through the door. Now, I was a bit, not confused, but I was hesitant at this point, that's the word. I knew that guard moves on master difficulty, and I was debating, should I go or should I stay? And I couldn't remember what his good position was when I was doing it, so yeah, you want him looking to the left towards the wall rather than right towards where you want to jump, which is here. So turn the radio on, get the cue ball and the toy tank, and then you want climb up. I was having a bit of difficulty, as you can tell. So yeah, as soon as you can, just get up and hide behind the stands, the toilet stands. Razor should be with us momentarily. As soon as he is, you've got the toy tank in your hand, throw it against the wall. Try and get as central as you can, because you're wanting to go pretty deep to the left. Hug the toilets and then just fibre wire him. That sounds very simple, but it is a little bit complicated. You basically got to make sure that you're as far out of his line of sight as you can. If he, put it like this, it's not the worst thing in a way if he catches you. But the trouble is, there are guards outside, and I'm pretty sure he could raise the alarm faster than you can fibre wire him. So you really don't try and get caught by him and then kill him, because even though that bit wouldn't count, I'm fairly certain he'd raise the alarm. So we don't want the body getting found, that's the difficult bit. So yeah, just try and sneak around him. That's the best thing you can do, really. So at this point, I'm actually wasting time, and I didn't realise I was wasting time. What I thought I was doing here was, I thought I was getting the consulate car park key. As it turns out, it's the army truck key. Now, I'm fairly certain that on Hitman 2016's professional difficulty, they swapped the keys around, so if you wanted to exit via the car park, you had to get the key from there, and the army truck was in the consulate. They've obviously not done it with this one, they've just put them where they should be, which is the army key in the school and the consulate one in the consulate. Which makes sense, but I didn't realise that. So just ignore that, that was just a detour for not really obvious reasons now. But yeah, I'm going to say we're not going to need that army truck key. I'm not coming all the way back here just to use it. So yeah, that did bug me, because I got the kill done with Klaus and I thought, okay, I'll exit, and yeah, I couldn't use the one I planned. So yeah, that was a gut punch, and really I couldn't get downstairs in the consulate because, well, I don't know if you've tried being in the consulate in a suit, it's not the easiest thing in the world. So yeah, I would have preferred something a bit different. So I dropped the karma at that point, because my idea is, if you stand here, the guard turns to the left. So when he goes to continue his patrol, he'll turn left and he won't see you. At that point, you just move forward so you stay out of his eye line. So as you saw, I moved as soon as he moved to the left. I bumped that guy before walking, because that way the AI essentially registers the bump before it registers you walking. So it just means you're less likely to get caught. I hear some speedrunners say, oh, if you're fast you won't get caught, but the way I see it is, I just have dumb luck. So I figure, do the bump, that way the AI is focused on the bump and not on who bumped you. Anyway, I bumped both of these two because they have a conversation. If you don't interrupt it, they would jabber on for ages, a bit like how I'm doing here. So at this point, just jump the wall. Now, I don't like doing this, but I just managed to get under the camera. Ideally, you'd take the camera out, but I didn't know when the guard would turn around, so I thought, let's move. But again, that does make things difficult on the way out, so if you can, take out the camera on the way in. Last thing here, we're just going to go down the steps. We're going to climb up here and go through the window just ahead, then through the doorway on the right. It's essentially, we're just circling around to get up into the top, well, the middle floor of the consulate. Well, the middle floor, then the top floor. So yeah, we're just circling the block. Picked up the armor because it's not necessarily for knockouts, although I do believe I use it for knockouts, but it's more just the fact that it's good for making a noise as well. We've also got coins for that reason. I am going to need coins for Klaus, so they do come in handy. Plus, we're going to need coins for these, because the two guards here prove to be a bit of a pain. It works with this first one, because the idea is I can just walk up a bit, throw the coin, and this guard who's leaning on the pillar, he will go to investigate it. The difficulty is if that guard there he is. He didn't this time, but worse things have happened. So really I didn't need to throw that second coin. I wish I hadn't, because it was a waste of a coin, but I think at the time I was concerned that I'd be seen. Take the camera out with the SMG, don't waste too much time, and at this point I was just checking that no one was seen before I used the SMG on the door. So yeah, again, this was just me playing safe. I didn't want to get caught, so yeah, just play it safe if you like me. If not, go ahead and risk it. Now, I'll use the pool ball. I was going to use the pool ball, sorry. I throw a coin instead. It's to interrupt the conversation and to get the guard to move forward, because otherwise they've got random head turning and chances are one of them at the very least will see you. So we don't want that. So go up the stairs and we're going into the room on the left, and you probably know how we're going to do the kill now. I did toy over this though, I must admit. As I said, it's a bit difficult to navigate around the consulate in a suit, but it isn't impossible. In fact, it is possible to get to a bathroom on, just checking the map, it's the west, I think, of the map. I'm trying to see the mini-map, but it's a bit small on my screen right now. So it's basically the east as we're looking at the map, or east of where we are now. And yeah, it's just before the room Klaus goes in with the boardroom, essentially. And it is possible to get there, but you just have to get past a janitor. The reason I didn't do that is because I thought it was just a bit too difficult getting past the janitor without, the consulate security also seeing me. So I just decided to go for the slower, if not safer, approach. Now, I will try it sometime. I've got to, just for the fact that otherwise I'm going to regret it. But just for this sort of video, for this compilation, I went safe. So, we've got this guy who's going to see the gun. He's going to take the gun downstairs, and this is the awkward bit. Ideally, he'd have walked through this door, I'd have got out the crate just as he got to the door, and I'd knock him out. The difficulty is, I didn't have the time to do that. I just couldn't press the exit button and feel confident I could get him before he went through the door. So, I had to leave him. So, what I do instead, I'm going to place the another weapon down, which is the covert, and essentially he's going to walk back in the room, you'll see this gun, and I'm just going to knock him out. The difficulty in doing this is quite obvious. There'll be 2 bodies in the crate, and because of that, it's a bit awkward when you've got Klaus here. Naturally, there's nowhere to hide him, so what do you do? And the simple answer really is just leave him in here, but you've got to make sure you get him in there. Now, the reason that sounds easier than it is, in Hitman 2016 you could fiber wire someone on that top balcony and there wasn't any repercussion. But now one of the consulate guards on the ground floor, because of the new mechanics in the game, he looks up, and if he looks up and sees your fiber wiring, SA ranking gone. So I just wasn't willing to take the risk that I could do it. So the idea is, simply put, I actually get closer to him now. I wouldn't say I coin him into the room, but I do lure him into the room to try and get his attention. It works, and I'm not upset or unhappy about how it turns out, but it's not the best way to get a target. You want a target to be in a good position to take out, a bit like Razor in the previous kill. You want it to be that even if you just throw something, you can move around and kill. You don't want it to be that you gotta go throw. So yeah, not particularly happy. As I said, there's the consulate guards, so that's worked out quite well. Pick up both the weapons, because if Klaus sees either of them, we're stuck, because he'll go after a guard. So yeah, make sure you pick them both up. Now at this point it's all about waiting for Klaus. So I am going fast forward at this point because Klaus does take a bit of a while to get here. So I will see you in about 20 seconds. Like I said, this is one of the slow approaches, and I'm really not happy how it turns out in that sense. But one of the beautiful things about doing it like this is that Klaus, thankfully, isn't an enforcer. So if he had been an enforcer, this whole thing would have been a lot more difficult, but because you can actually just be in front of him, he sees you, he doesn't mind, it just makes the whole thing a lot easier. So we're going to throw the coin into the room once the question mark goes, that draws him into the room, and yeah, as soon as he's inside, we fiber wire. Now I had a bit of difficulty here. It's a silly difficulty, but it was the idea that he got trapped in a weird position around the door, so yep, I wouldn't say it was glitchy, but it was awkward. Managed to get the kill in though, so that was the main thing. So just drag his body into the room, pick up whatever you can as far as the coin goes, because like I did, it nearly ended up in a funny position, and then just make your way to the exit. So if you've got the guard on the stairs, be careful, because he can be coming up as well as going down, and yeah, just hug the right hand wall, because that way there's less chance the soldier will see you. So yeah, just go through the door, and essentially from here we're just retracing our steps. We're going back the way we came in, so we're going to take a right here through the double doors. Now we're going to just take cover behind the cars, because that is essentially the problem we've got here, that we basically need to wait until the roaming or the patrolling soldier is in a good position. So ideally you could run for it, but the trouble is that guard there would see you, obviously. So you can't just throw a coin, because as you can see, the patrolling ones come into the area, so we go after the coin. So what you really need is for that soldier to have gone back to where he was the first time we went in. So yeah, we have a little wait here. I wouldn't call it as long as the wait for Klaus, because I've just watched all of that and that was really long. But yeah, it's still longer than I'd like. Ideally, you'd be able to manipulate this. I mean, if you had a normal pistol instead of the the SMG, you could maybe do a pistol trick, get him to go upstairs to investigate something. But as you can see, that did work out alright how I did that. I threw a coin behind the car and just circled the car. So there are ways to get around it. It's just, it can be a bit tedious sometimes if the guards are in the wrong place when you get there. So as I said, just retrace your steps. You drop down here, go up the stairs, and you go through the door pretty much just straight ahead once you turned right here. So yeah, nothing fancy. The only difficulty at this point is getting out, because the consulate guard is outside and the camera's there, so you've got to take a very specific route to get around the camera, and you've got to make sure the guard doesn't see. So as you can see there, the guard is looking, the camera is active, so it's not like you can use the I don't even know what you call them, like the metal things, you can't use them as cover. So it's very awkward. Not to mention I really did try then, as if to say, go on, just go and investigate that cue ball. And instead he thinks, what's that? Who threw that? And instead of actually going to investigate what I threw. So that wasn't too great. Luckily it didn't cost me. I just wait for the camera to move to the left and then I make my way out. So up the wall and we're in the clear. So yeah, that's about a 17-minute playthrough and I am not particularly happy about it. I mean, as far as the kills, they're quite sound. I would have liked to have got Klaus a bit faster. I'm tempted to try the toilet in another playthrough just to see if it is possible to get to the toilet without being spotted, and if that's the case, the kill itself is much better. So I will have a play around with that to see what I can do. But yeah, besides that, I thought it wasn't too bad. But let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe to the channel if I can say the word subscribe. If I can't say the word subscribe, then at least you can try and hit the button for me. There's a weird number of people who aren't subscribing, so take a look and hit the button. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in another video. This has been Josh from JJ's Productions, and hopefully I'll see you then. Bye for now, folks.